Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Media Buff Guys, the podcast about anything and everything media related. I'm back after a little brief hiatus because I was sick. But with me today is Matt and Lane. So, hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, my wife won't be joining us. She's still feeling a little under the weather, but hopefully by our next episode she'll be able to participate because it's a pretty good one. But for this episode, we're gonna be talking about DC, more specifically live action versus animated. But before we begin, a quick word from our affiliate Maono. Maono is our microphone of choice in this show. If you want to sound like us and you don't want to break your bank or wallet, definitely check them out. Affiliate link is always on the description on my YouTube channel, or you can find it at our link tree at the Media Buff Guys Instagram. If you use code word MediaBuff, you can get 10% off your first purchase. So, with that being said, we're talking about DC live action versus animated. If you've seen some of the most recent films that come out, they haven't really performed as well as we would like them to. More specifically, the Joker. But I mean, I feel like that's not fair.
No, that one was.
Even though it's a DC film, I still wouldn't count it as a comic book film.
Yeah, let's kind of clarify that first. Like, while comparing this, it's gonna be movies and shows like The Flash, Batman, Superman.
Yeah,
stuff
depicting actual heroes and villains
and their story
and arcs. Their stories. Yeah, not like third-party stories or something with their name.
Universes.
Yeah. Well, there's.
There's gonna be alternate, but not like detailed alternate universe type stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but for starters, what's your guys' take just on why live action kind of falls short to the animated? Kind of like who wants to take that one? Because I always feel that animated is better than live action.
Okay.
In this case, for DC it is.
For DC for sure.
DC it is. Okay, well, what I think it is that I think the reason why the animation stuff does better most of the time is because Warner Brothers isn't like the corporate guys don't have their noses in it. Like, they kind of leave the projects alone and let the people who the
animation studio
animation studio handle the project, and so they get like a really good product, right? Whereas with the live action aspect of things, like DC or Warner Brothers saw what Disney and Marvel was doing,
and they decided
to copy it, and like they didn't copy it hard enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't stick to the source material.
Well, no, not that. It's like, okay, so like the term Metrovania games, right? And like Symphony of the Night came out after Metroid, Super Metroid, and so it copy paste Super Metroid. So, and that's why it worked, and it worked really well. That's what I mean. DC didn't copy Marvel enough, and they try to be different, and I think that's why they fall short.
Well, they've always preferred to be the more edgier ones.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you could still keep that same edginess, but also follow Marvel's formula, considering it worked.
For a while.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah. I mean, like 20 years in,
that's true. Yeah, it's finally starting to fizzle out.
It's stale. Yeah. But like before, when this first all happened and it all started, DC should have just been like, let's do what they're doing, but like copy them exactly, and and still retain like the edginess and the core constructs of the characters that you're introduced to.
Right.
And so that's why I think like the DC live action doesn't do as well as the animated.
Right. Well, what's your take, Lane? Like, why do you feel like live kind of falls short to the animated one versions of this comic book franchise?
I think the live action stuff doesn't work too well because I feel like they just use the characters that are in the comics and then just kind of like try to make their own weird story that they think would, like Matt was saying, feel kind of like Marvel a little bit. But the thing is Marvel follows the source material very well, and I think that's where DC kind of like messes up, because they're like, well, we want to copy them but not be exactly like them, so we're gonna like use the characters, do all these big like intense like scenes, like action scenes, but like not really follow a story that really happened in a comic. And I think that's just where it falls short, because people want to see the comic and you are just giving us the characters from the comic, and just like some really lacking storyline that just doesn't feel genuine and true to how like the comics are. Now, like, I haven't read every comic. I've read a small little dabble here and there just to kind of get a feel of how certain writers are. And I mostly do Batman comics. So for me, it's, from what little bit I have read, it doesn't really feel like something that came out of a comic book, more so than just like people trying to write a movie they think feels like a DC movie.
No, I get what you mean, because you can follow the source material to a T, but if your story, or if your flow isn't on point, or if your actors aren't on point, or even if I want to say the story you pick isn't the best one, it's gonna falter simply because it's not gonna resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I've noticed, DC likes to really pick obscure heroes sometimes to do a live action about, when in reality people just want to see the same 5 heroes.
We just want to see the Justice League.
Exactly.
Well, I think that comes more down to like casual fans, like me, who's I would say I'm a hardcore DC fan, and so like, okay, like perfect example, when they did the Atom, with The Rock.
Yeah.
I could care less about him being in the movie and him being the main character. I mean, the movie was fine. He was fine. Not taking anything away from that. But what I really enjoyed is that we got Dr. Fate and Hawkman.
Yeah, I like seeing
that shit was really cool. And I was like, holy fuck, we got some B-team characters.
That you don't normally see in a live setting. I don't think they've ever been in a live setting, but
Yeah.
you know who they are, especially if you've seen the animated or read their comics.
Yeah,
Yes.
but like you said, they're not the same 5. They're not the A-team cast. I mean, they are popular enough where people can recognize who they are, but they don't have as much screen time. And like, I thought that shit was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really appreciate to see more shit like that. And also, I think like the people that go see these movies, maybe like, I know there's hardcore fans that go see these movies and stuff like that, but like, I think like when it comes to like, also I think like that's another big difference too between the animated and and like the movies or live action. At least I would say, at least for the movies, because the live action TV series were pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of people would agree.
Minus a couple that weren't that good, and I think like when DC's making those animated films and or shows, they're making it for the hardcore fans.
Yeah, I would agree, especially because unless you know exactly who the character is on the screen, you're not going to know much about them, or you're going to confuse it with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is that the people who watch the movies, like you said, are the casuals, and they outnumber the hardcore. So I think that's why DC maybe should just stick to doing the same song and dance when it comes to the live action. In the animated, to me, one of the reasons I feel the animated is better than the live action is because since your overhead is not as high, you can do a lot more. You can have the entire Justice League plus all the B teams in the Justice League in that screen, and it wouldn't cost you as much as having like 50 mega super actors that are worth 50 million a piece on that screen for 90 minutes.
That's a big fucking budget.
That is a massive budget, and that's the problem with doing live action, because these stories are always grand scale, and it's never really about just one guy. I mean, you can do it about just one guy, but people want to see the grand scale stuff. Part of the reason I think Marvel's The Avengers did well is because they had a decent size. Granted, the Avengers are massive, like not even half of the team was there, but DC has tried to do that with Justice League, and I guess they just didn't really deliver as well as they could. Not because the story wasn't there or the cast wasn't there. It's because they try to put in their own style in it, and I don't think the fans.
And also, it was rushed. If you if you think about the first Iron Man movie all the way to Justice League, that was a 10-year project.
Yeah.
And then WB comes in, they're like, oh, they're doing that. That's making them money. We need to do the same thing right now.
Yeah, like 2 movies.
And 2 movies. Yeah. So we got fucking Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and then Justice League. Yeah. And then they threw in the Flash, and that's when you're first introduced to the Flash and Cyborg.
Yeah.
When Cyborg and Flash should have had their own movies.
Their own standalones, yeah.
Yeah. So and also not to mention all the problems with the Justice League movie.
The directing and the fiasco with Zack Snyder. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, and then they had Josh Whedon come in.
Mess it all up.
And because he was trying to do what he did over at Marvel.
Yeah.
And even if you're not a fan of DC, I do say that you go and watch this Snyder cut of Justice League, because you can see Zack Snyder's
what he wanted.
He wanted. You could see his vision from start to end, and it makes so much more sense and so much better than what you got with the theatrical original release.
Yeah. Kind of going around, what's one live action DC film that you think kind of got all hits on point? I know you're going with the Snyder cut of Justice League. What about you, Lane? What's one live action DC film you think got on point? Did really well.
I'm I'm pretty biased. I'm a diehard Batman fan, and I love obviously the first 2 Batman films, Batman
89 and Batman Returns.
Yeah, and Batman Returns. I love those. I think they're both just perfect. But then for the newer stuff, I think everyone's obvious choice is what is it? Batman
Superman?
Knight? No.
Dark Knight? Yeah.
Whatever, yeah. With Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
But I actually did
the Nolan Batverse.
Yeah. Which I didn't really care for Christian Bale, so whatever, I thought it was pretty whatever.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
But I did like this newer Batman movie with
Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
He actually did a good job.
Yes, I did like that one. I think it was pretty decent compared to what the fuck ever been Ben Affleck as Batman. Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Whatever. He's not someone I would ever want to cast as Batman. But I think Robert Pattinson did a really good job.
Yeah, they did.
And that movie felt like a fucking Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
It
really
felt
did.
like a Batman movie.
Because he was doing detective work and all that.
Yeah, it felt like a comic book and
very noir.
Exactly.
I
really appreciated it.
That was what they were going for when they were talking about
the
movie.
Went on record to say.
And they absolutely nailed it. And when it comes to Patterson's Batman, between him and Ben Affleck,
I'll take Patterson every day.
Me too, but I don't think Ben Affleck was that bad, to be honest.
He was okay.
He was okay.
He was a good Batman. He was a lousy Bruce Wayne.
Yes. Was he perfect? Absolutely not. But he wasn't bad. I don't think he was the worst.
He wasn't
choice.
the worst Batman.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
So
No, but I still think Christian Bale is worse.
yeah.
I don't know. I liked them in Dark Knight. I liked them a little bit in Batman Begins because he wasn't doing the.
I think Batman Begins was better than Dark Knight.
Rachel, where's the trigger?
Yeah.
Where are they?
If
I mean, the first two were good. The third one was total garbage.
but but with Patterson, it was really cool to see him doing actual detective work again, because when they with a lot of Batman stuff, it will, for a long time it kind of felt like it was just more action, and they kind of forgot about him being a detective.
Yeah. I'll agree and disagree with you on that one, simply because almost every film, and I think one of the best ones that had the best detective work besides Pattinson's is which is the one where he fights the Joker and Two-Face. Is that Batman Forever?
Yes.
Okay. So in Batman Forever, I feel like that had one of the second best detective.
No, that was the Riddler.
The Riddler and
like,
Two-Face. Who does he fight? Where does he fight Riddler and Two-Face? Is that Forever?
Batman Forever. Yeah. Batman and Robin is
Freeze.
Poison Ivy
and
Freeze and Bane.
But that one I feel had a really good one because there's an actual scene where him and Alfred are sitting down trying to solve all of Riddler's puzzles and doing detective work and trying to figure out. So that, to me, was one of the best times where they showed his detective skills.
Val Kilmer, right?
Val Kilmer, yeah.
He wasn't bad Batman at all.
No, he was.
No,
he was.
we all can agree that George Clooney is probably the worst Batman.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
He just played himself in a bat suit.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Those are two solid live actions. For me, one of the best live actions, even to this day, that I would say for DC is probably the only one that has stuck to a comic or graphic novel that they adapted it almost to a T. They literally only changed one part of this one, and it's the villain at the end, which is technically a space alien, but in this one, it's a nuclear bomb that goes off, and that's the Watchmen.
Oh, yeah.
So if you watch the Watchmen,
I think
and you have the graphic novel in front of you, you can literally follow along with every scene up until that point.
I own the graphic novel, and that movie is a piece of shit compared to the graphic novel.
Granted, there's still more in the graphic novel, but the story, they literally...
So much they left out that they should have put in the movie.
And it would have been a 4-hour film. And for the record, a lot of that was just what the comedian being a dick. But as far as adaptation...
No, there's so much more to it. They only had they ignored a lot when it came to all the characters.
Yeah, but they stuck to the core. They
bare
showed
minimum.
Which what you could do in 2 hours. The movie was 3 hours
minimum, and that book has so much more to offer, and they fucked that movie up.
Regardless, as far as adapting a graphic novel or one of the comics, they stuck to it better than any other comic book movie to date. No other comic book has ever made a live adaptation of a comic book or a graphic novel to that T. You can quote me. There are 86 live adaptation, 33 live DC titles today. The only other one that kind of got it close was V for Vendetta and the Swamp Thing.
No, V for Vendetta is pretty much on point. That's
what I'm saying. The only other ones that got it as close as the Watchmen did was V for Vendetta and the Swamp Thing. V for Vendetta also left a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
Or did you forget that they show all the experiments in the graphic novel that they did on V?
They show that in the movie as well.
They show a clip.
Yeah, they show like
a
good
30-second clip.
They show that when
I will pull up that scene and show it to you right now. Go ahead,
because I just watched the movie before coming here. I watch it every year on the 5th of November.
You didn't even know it was the 5th of
Yes,
November.
I did.
You have to ask Omar.
I'm the one who pointed it out that today. That,
I posted it on my gram.
Yeah, but I know when Guy Fawkes Day is every fucking year.
Yeah. Regardless, as far as film from comic book adaptations, Watchmen's did a fantastic job. They stuck to the story. They stuck with the character arcs. They even stuck with the dumb side stories of Mr. Manhattan. What's her name?
Yeah, they never
showed.
showed. They never explained what
annoying,
happened of why what's her face hates the comedian of what he actually did to her.
They did show that.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they do. You need to rewatch that movie, my friend, because they do show that.
They showed her getting raped.
Yes, they do, and they show what's his name with the rope around his neck saving her. So ha. Anyways. As far as I'm concerned, they did a really good job adapting the graphic novel to the film. And if you want to go to that length, we can pop in the movie one of these days, and I will bust out the graphic novel, and I will flip the page as the scenes go on by one. They did leave stuff out, but compared to other movies, when they try to adapt a comic book, they still left a lot of that in there. Granted, they could have left it on everything, but the movie would have been like 5 hours long. And a lot of that is either Rorschach doing more investigative work, the whole romantic arc between Owlman and what's her name, and then
Silk Spectre, I think,
and then freaking Mr. Manhattan having an existential crisis. I mean, nobody wants to see that. Regardless, that's my like not favorite live action, but I feel like that was the best
movie.
when they. A lot of over 190 million people would disagree because it won an award. Actually, it won 3 awards.
Well, all those people are dumb, and the people who love the book would agree with me.
No, they liked it too, and I can quote some stuff on Metacritic where they say that this was still one of the best adaptations as far as a comic book goes.
Metacritic can suck my dick.
People still use it. Regardless, I mean, live action films are harder to pull off just because they're grander, but they're not impossible. Like, what's one thing you think studios can do or should do so they don't continue making these kind of mistakes?
Not make Watchmen.
Well, they did a show, so obviously it did well. They had a TV series.
I'm dying on that hill.
Yeah, you are dying on that hill. You're the only one on that hill.
No, I'm not. There's others with me.
No, there's not. And the ones that are with you probably haven't seen the show either. Because it's on, its 3rd season? But yeah, what's something studios can do to make live action films as good, if not better, than animated? What's your take, Lane?
I think just go off the source material.
Exactly.
Just pick a good storyline that doesn't necessarily have to span, unless you really want to do, you know what I mean? I feel like pick a story arc that doesn't span over too many comics to explain, so you don't have to lose too much stuff to try to condense it.
Exactly.
But stick to the source material and cast better. You need to cast better.
I feel like they should let the fans decide who to cast. Like,
I
they should do
think
like
not.
a poll.
I don't know about that, but like it's just like you gotta just. I think a lot of casting for a lot of their movies just screw them over a lot.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how Marvel was able to do it so well. But I mean, they did. I feel like they did it a lot. I mean, that too, but like, you know, whatever. That's really it. I feel like just stick to a good story. There's a lot of comics that have really great stories that are fan favorites. That would be good adaptations, but you know, don't have to be too long to where you have to make a decade's worth of movies to explain it necessarily. And yeah, just stick to the source material better. Like make stuff people obviously want to know about and to see live, and instead of just like what you think would compete with something that's already being done and happening.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What's something the studios can do?
It all depends. Like, okay, if you're gonna create a whole new story, then keep the core essentials for the characters of who you're representing, or who you're depicting, and also stop showing us the same 5 characters over and over again. Give us new people, give us new stories.
Yeah, take a gamble.
Yes, and also, like what Lane said, if you're going to do a depiction of a comic book, then stick to the source material.
Yeah.
And I do agree with the casting, and like try to find people who would be a good match for. Although you could be surprised, like with Michael Keaton, like no one thought he could be a good Batman.
That's true.
Turned out he's an excellent Batman. So like the casting part is a little tricky.
Yeah.
Like
it could be hit or miss.
Yeah, it could be hit or miss, but like do the best. But just don't like I guess like the one thing you should avoid is picking people who are going to just play themselves. Like George Clooney. I'm not trying to harp on him or anything, but and he's not a terrible actor, but if you notice a lot of the roles he does, he generally like plays himself a lot. Same thing with like Alec Baldwin.
Oh yeah.
Like they just kind of essentially
they're just being themselves on the screen.
But they exaggerate themselves, right? While they're on screen. And so so don't go with that. And just because they have like pedigree and a name, they may not be the best choice for the character you're trying to represent.
That's true.
I also hated Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Yeah, I didn't like him either.
I hated him as the Flash. Like he gave me like the whole time he just gave me like weird fucking Peter Parker wannabe vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not just it's
not as endearing, but more annoying.
But it's just like
he was just annoying. To me, he was just annoying.
He was just not good. He's annoying. I did not believe him as that he was the Flash. Like you had to really tell me that's who he was. Like, and he just the casting choice on that was just like this is where you want to cast over on this side, but you cast way on that side so fucking far off. Like I can't even see where they are. I don't even know where they are over there.
What's his name? Grant something? The TV guy. The one from the Flash TV. He was really good.
Yeah, I was told that he actually did do a good job.
He did really. I mean, they used him for 8 seasons. Like,
yeah.
Come on. I mean, like he was really good, and he felt like Barry Allen. Like, like he felt like Barry Allen. Like he had
Grant Gustin.
Yeah, Grant Gustin. He had like the wit of Barry Allen, and like he had like the comedic timing of Barry, but also but Barry also carried like a huge responsibility on his shoulders.
Yeah,
and like you could see that with Grant.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I've seen clips of I've never seen the show, but I've seen clips of it, and some of them are just really funny. And he does give me, like Lane was saying, Peter Parker vibes, and I think that's his character's persona, who he embodies. Because everybody knows that Marvel has copied every superhero from DC, and I think the copy of Peter Parker is Barry Allen's Flash.
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, not at all.
But in the clips I have seen, the way he acts is just like so reminiscent to a character who doesn't really take himself serious, even though he can be serious. Like one particular scene, he gets held up at gunpoint, and he's just like, "Oh, cool, a crime." So he immediately disarms the guy, and then goes like, "So I'm gonna, I give you 2 choices. You can either leave, or I can arrest you." Or, beat you up real fast and then have you arrested. And the guy obviously is like, no, we're good. But, yeah, I mean, for me, it starts at the beginning, at the studio. Warner Brother needs to loosen the purse strings. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. There's no reason why they need to, be so stingy on their budgets. 2, whoever they hire to direct it or to, manage it, 1, it needs to be somebody who is going to stay the entire project. 2, they can't be meddling with their creative process the entire time, because that's what happens with a lot of the directors, why they leave, because the studio heads are so involved that I'm like, I can't do anything without you guys pulling up a red flag. I'm out. And 3, like you guys said, the casting process, I mean, I get that some movies do well because the name, if you put a specific actor or actress behind it, it's going to do well. But there's no reason why you can't take a gamble on either lesser actors, new actors, or even B or C actors. And the third, and the bonus one for me is, don't try to do something too big, especially in a live action, unless you're willing to back it up with a lot of money.
True.
Because, I mean, you could easily, if you wanted to do a full Justice League film, you would need to cast at least 50 people just to fill up half the roster.
No, because the Justice League is just.
I'm not talking about the core character. I'm talking about like the full league. The expanded league. And on top of that, the movie would be like 5 hours long. So start small, go big, and Warner Brothers stop being so involved and loosen the purse strings.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I kind of lost my thought.
But let's go on to the animated side. As of right now, and according to IMDb, there are 86 animated titles, with Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm being the first one that came out in '93. What's one of your guys' favorite animated films that you've seen?
Besides Batman: Mask of the Phantasm?
Besides Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, or Free Sub-Zero, or Beyond: Return of the Joker.
Damn it. Taking all the good ones.
Or Batman versus Dracula.
Okay, aside from any of the Batman ones,
yeah.
Deathstrokes, Dragons and Demons.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not 100%.
It was one of those that flew under the radar. I know which one you're talking about.
I have it on DVD or Blu-ray, and it's really good. Deathstroke isn't the villain. He's the anti-hero in this film.
I've actually never thought of Destro as a demon. He's a gun for hire. So.
No, he's always been a villain. But then there's cases where he is the anti-hero.
Yeah.
And so, but it's just called, the tagline is just called Demons and Dragons or Knights and Dragons or something.
Yeah, Knights and Dragons.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, it came out in 2020. It's actually a pretty good one. I actually only recently saw it, so.
Yeah, and it has Bronze Tiger in it and things like that. So is Deathstroke an A-list villain, or is he more like a B villain for Batman?
He's one of those villains that you don't really see much of him because, like I said, he's a hired gun. So unless you hire him to do something, he's not gonna do it. He doesn't go out and cause chaos. Well, he's a hitman. So.
Yeah, but he's a mercenary, and Deadpool's obviously a ripoff of
Deathstroke. Yeah,
and
I mean they had Michael Chiklis voicing him, so
yeah.
I mean, come on.
But I'm trying to get at
Ben Grimm technically.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at is I don't think I think Deathstroke is one of those characters where he's recognizable, but he's not super popular.
No, he's not, which is kind of a shame because if you look at a little bit of his backstory and then who he is as a whole, he's had different personas. Like in the Teen Titans, he was Slade.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's his name, Slade Wilson.
No, I know. That's what they called him, though. Even though he's Deathstroke, they kept calling him Slade.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned that he's Deathstroke, or they just...
No, they just kept calling him Slade.
They just called him by his name.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying. But he's one of those characters that, the people who know who he is really like him. And when they showed him at the end of Batman Dawn of Justice, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, everybody was so happy about that because they were like, "Oh snap, are we gonna see him in the next one?" I was excited, and then
that's like the only. That's the only good part about that movie, by the way.
Well, hang on.
No.
I'm trying to like. I can always
and Gal Gadot. Okay?
I can always back something up slightly, but it is hard on that one. But what about you, Lane? What's one like that like you really really like that you've watched on multiple times? You could probably recite it by heart.
Oh, not by heart. No, not that many times.
ADHD doesn't work like that. Okay.
It does for Lane, man.
Sometimes, but
it's like she's like our cyborg.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, my favorites are some of the ones that you said don't mention. But Under the Red Hood is another good one. That's a good one.
I was gonna go with that one, but that's such a good one, dude. Such a good one.
All the Batman ones are.
The other one I thought was really fun too was Justice League Doom.
Oh, another good one.
Yeah, so I was going back.
Another good one. But dude, Under the Red Hood, oh my god, like Jensen Ackles as Robin, as Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Like
I really like Bruce Greenwood as Batman.
He was good.
I thought he did an excellent voice.
And freaking Bender as Joe DiMaggio as a freaking Joker. You gotta give the kid points. He came back from the dead for the shindig.
Be quiet or I'll put one in your lap.
Party pooper, no cake for you. But see, that's just how good that film is, man. Like, so good. And another one that stuck to the source material.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. What was the other one you said? Justice League
Doom?
Okay, I was thinking of Death of Superman. But Justice League Doom was also another good one. Although Superman dies in that one too, doesn't he?
Everybody dies. They all die.
Justice League Doom?
No.
That's the one where Batman fucking...
the contingency plan.
Yes. And then the caveman dude, something Savage.
Vandal Savage.
Yeah, Vandal Savage.
Yeah, he tries to destroy the planet with a solar flare.
And then they make the planet like transparent.
So the flare goes through.
Yeah.
Yes, another good one. Also stuck to the stores.
Batman Year One was really fucking good.
That was like a bunch of mini ones put together, right?
No, it's the whole entire Year One comic book.
Which is the one that had a lot of them put together?
Oh,
like in different art
style. Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. Yes, that was a good one. But yeah, Lane, Under the Red Hood and Doom, very good ones. Good stories.
Superman Man of Tomorrow, really good Superman movie, and also has Lobo.
I'm trying to remember.
It's the one where you like Superman. He like Clark. It's like his origin story. It's supposed to be like part of the new reboot of the DC.
The B-52s.
No, after the 52.
Oh, okay.
And like he fights Parasite and like Lobo.
I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to check it out.
If you haven't, check it out.
For the record, folks, a lot of these films are on HBO Max because HBO kind of put it upon themselves to get all the DC together in one place.
Oh, and speaking of everything that's on Max, like I think they just came out with part 3, but Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Like, I haven't watched them all because I want to watch them all together because I don't want to be left on a cliffhanger.
Dude, I'm kind of like, I haven't watched part 2 yet. I only saw part 1 and I loved part 1, especially because I think it's like one of the best stories for the Flash. And like, I think when it comes to DC, aside from Batman, the Flash is like one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah,
and
he's a great character.
And like, I don't want to give away the ending. Like, but there's a part that just makes me like, yeah, that's definitely a Flash move. Like going back to the way he carries responsibility.
Yeah, no, yeah. For me, one of my favorite ones that I've actually watched multiple times is Flashpoint Paradox.
That's another great one.
Such a good one. Another good comic book adaptation. Not only was the story like on point, just seeing that alternate Thomas being Batman, his mom, the Joker, even though they don't actually show her, but hinting at it. Such a good story and plot, and then the ending.
Tom kill his wife?
No, so in Flashpoint, Bruce dies, Tom becomes Batman, his wife becomes, Martha becomes the Joker.
I thought he he told Barry that he ended up killing her.
No,
at some point.
No, but
It's been a while since I've seen the movie.
He's trying to kill her because
Yeah.
Thomas uses guns. Regardless, that one another good adaptation. But this is what we mean when we say that just the animated versions of DC films just like so good, so well done, voice acting so good. I think that a lot of that stems from Andrea Romero. I don't know if you guys know who this. She's like the DC guru of voice acting recruitment. Woman knows who to get, and when she gets them, oh my god, do they deliver? Like, so good.
What is one, or what's like some DC animated films that you thought didn't do too well?
Batman versus Robin kind of sucked for me.
Okay.
Mostly because I don't like Damien. He's a little POS.
Yeah, Damien's kind of.
He's a
annoying.
POS, dude.
He's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Way self-centered. I think Justice League War was kind of
That one wasn't
boring
good either.
Like, I don't think it was that good.
New Frontier, I thought it was gonna be better.
Okay.
They went with the 50 style art.
I love the art style.
Yeah, but the story
was a little lackluster. Like, there are some cool parts when like Batman tells Martin Manhunter, he goes, I have like $1 million rock of kryptonite
to kill one guy
to kill an alien. All I need is a
25-cent book of matches for you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is where Superman he's in Vietnam with Diana, and then he gets to a village where Diana has basically let a bunch of women slaughter guys that captured them, and like he's like, dude, why did you do that? It's like, why not? And then the fact that she was voiced by Lucy Lawless, just like cherry on top. But I mean, besides that, the art, the story wasn't the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of cool moments. The art style was great, but yeah, the story wasn't there.
What about you, Lane? What's one that kind of like,
It was one of those ones where they like moved them around in time. I think it was like
Is it Crisis on Two Earths?
No, it was a Batman one, but it's like set in a
kind of noirish.
Not noirish. I think, didn't they do one where it was like a Jack the Ripper kind of?
Yeah,
Oh.
Gotham by Gaslight.
That one was kind of weird.
I like that one.
I wanted to like it.
And when they do that, when they move them to like a different
Era.
time or era, it always throws me off. It's a little weird. I feel like it kind of misses. There's like,
okay.
I wanted to like it, and I was excited. But then when I watched it, I'm like, man, this is boring. A lot of it is just seeing Bruce with his mutton chops. It was bad.
yeah.
I like it because it was a slow burn. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it that I like because it was a slow
It wasn't
burn.
terrible, but yeah.
And it did play more. I think that's why I liked it, is because it played more out like a drama than an action flick.
I think that's what they were going for.
I think that's what I appreciate about it, but I can totally understand and
then
see
they
why
did-
people don't like
Yeah,
it.
and then they did the Batman Ninja.
That one I like.
It's kinda
That one I
weird.
like.
I liked it up until they busted out the mech suits.
No, but they get destroyed. Remember?
Yeah, but still, why
So-
even have them in there?
Because he got transported
I
to.
know.
This one, this is the like future Batman, but he got transported back in
Time to feudal Japan,
and
the Joker's there.
I like the fact that even though he had all that tech,
Why is the Joker? Like, I don't know.
but I like the fact that even though he had all that tech, he ended up having to resort back to his, hit and run tactics, stealth tactics, because the suit gets destroyed like 10 minutes into the movie, and I was bummed about it because it was a cool suit. But yeah, I agree with Lane. Like, the Joker looked weird as hell, and Harley looked a little. It was a little on the hentai anime perv thing,
Yeah.
I just remember
not
thinking the entire
feeling
time,
it.
like, it's like, I like it, but a lot of this is not sitting well with me. But the armor that he dons near the end of
where
that
it's
one,
more like samurai, like okay,
it was
like
badass.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that one was kind of weird for
Yeah.
me too, mainly because they busted out the mechs at the end, even though they get destroyed on.
No, that's in the beginning. The Batmobile gets turned into a mech and it gets destroyed in the beginning of the movie.
I thought they had like a giant mech battle at the end of the movie.
So what
where
happens?
Joker turns a castle into
a castle into a giant mech.
What?
I don't know if you want to call that a mech because it was still wood and rock moving around, but I guess you can say that. Either way, I mean, it wasn't the worst. I liked it, especially the art style, because they went with a little of like Samurai Jack style. And the voice acting was pretty good. The story made no sense. I honestly didn't even know what was happening at the time. But other than that, it was all pretty good.
All right. What do you guys have you seen, or if you have, Batman Lovecraft? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't really like sat down and watch it, but it's like they're combining, obviously Batman and H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I have seen like clips here and there, but I haven't seen it myself, so I can't say anything about it.
I heard Batman Hush was pretty terrible.
It was. It really was, especially
been better, yeah.
especially because the graphic novel is so good.
I have the graphic novel.
Oh my gosh, such a good graphic novel. Yeah.
Like that's one I would.
That's one of the ones.
You could do a movie on that.
And the Court of Owls.
Yes.
Movie. But another one that I like I understand like the hate for it, and I don't like it either. But like, The Killing Joke was another one that
another one that should have been a lot better.
It was not good in the beginning.
No.
The unnecessarily filler part they put in there.
Yeah.
But after we got past that, like, I thought it followed the comics pretty.
No, it did. One of my
well,
biggest
actually.
issues was really just kind of like the voice acting and the art style.
It was a little
Like
weird.
everybody
but
looked like Superman in that film, in that animated film. Like Joker was like freaking buff as hell. It was weird. But I mean, yeah, they're not always gonna get it on point, and they've had their shortcomings. But I think we can all agree that they're still the leading one when it comes to
they're consistently better than the live action.
And I wish the live action could follow suit, because DC is such a good comic franchise and their stories are so good. Seeing that in live action is always something that I want to see, but they hit you down a lot. Like
they just don't pick the right story.
Yeah, they don't. Like, I mean, one of the few ones that they like, another good one that's also a DC film, live action, was Constantine. But I mean, that's Keanu Reeves and.
Yeah.
Well, I say when it comes to Keanu Reeves, like his acting is really hit and miss. Like,
it's more of a hit though. Like, I say like 60-40.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are just some movies that he does and they're not good.
Yeah, but I feel like some of those are like either indie projects or projects that like they have him do. Mm-hmm. Like Knock Knock. That I don't think that was one film he wanted to do.
Which one's Knock Knock?
It's a weird film. It's with Ana de Armas, and I forget who the other girl is.
Is that
in
movie the one where he's like a serial killer?
No, he's actually just a regular guy.
And they're the serial killers?
They're not serial killers. They're just messing with him. He ends up banging them, and they literally just torture him and bury him in the backyard and leave a video of him doing them for the family to find.
Oh,
it's definitely a messed up film. But I mean, like I said, live action DC films, I hope someone can get the quality that Batman 89 did, Batman Forever, Batman Returns did. Hell, even Batman Forever. I like Batman Forever. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it.
Batman Forever. I like Batman Returns, Batman Forever are like, they're all good. And then it's just Batman and Robin is bad.
Yeah.
And it's because, like, with that film, they just went hardcore with all the cliches at the time. They're like, you want a cliche? Here it is.
They went super campy with Batman and Robin. Because, and one of the defending arguments that, I forget who Joel Schumacher had, like, it's a kid's film. Like, we're targeting to kids. And kids did love that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I could not tell you how many kids I saw dressed up as Mr. Freeze on Halloween that year.
Which Mr. Freeze, though?
Each version, not just Arnold's. I saw a lot of the animated version ones. I had some. I literally saw some kids with a plastic tube that was little spray painted blue, and they had a toy gun and had red goggles. I mean, like he said, the film was targeted to kids, and it was heavily marketed for kids. McDonald's, they had the cups, the toys, everything that they did for that one was for the kids. The other three, actually the first two, those were dark AF. That's like Batman noir stuff. That was targeted for the adults. Kids obviously enjoyed it too. And then the transitioning point was Batman Forever. That's when they started getting a little campier, especially with Jim Carrey as
Riddler.
Edward Nygma, the Riddler, and Nicholson as an animatic Two-Face.
Yeah, which like Two-Face isn't animatic at all.
Well, I mean, you can make the argument that his other side was doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was more eccentric, and Two-Face he's not eccentric like that. Like Aaron Eckhart fucking pulled it off.
Hell yeah, he did actually. He really did, which is weird because seeing him
like,
in Battlefield Los Angeles, and then that, I was like, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Or what was the one with the smoking? Is that the Inconvenient?
Thank You for Smoking.
Thank You for Smoking. Seeing him in Thank You for Smoking, and then seeing him in Batman, I was like, oh
yeah, like,
he's got good range.
Yeah, because like Two-Face is vicious.
And there goes to the whole point that Lane had made out, like the casting. You know, like it's always going to be a hit or a miss, but they surprise you because I don't think anybody really knew who he was when he got casted for Two-Face.
I think a lot of people know who he was. I mean, I did. I knew the name.
Not everybody's a cinephile though. Like I'm thinking about people who weren't cinephiles. I don't think a lot of people knew who he was when he got casted. It's like when Glenn Powell made it onto the scene. Like, not a lot of people knew who he was or some of the films he did. Like, look at freaking Vin Diesel, man. Like, starting off in Saving Private Ryan to where he is now. So,
family.
When it comes to casting, it's always a hit or a miss, but you could always get surprised. And that's one iteration where, even though a lot of people were probably like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, and like Michael Caine is great as Alfred.
Oh my god, he is probably my second favorite Alfred, next to the one from '89 and Forever. He's always gonna be my Alfred, especially when he would like kind of clown on Bruce. It's like, what is that? Gazpacho. It's cold. It's supposed to be cold. But Caine as Alfred, especially in the Nolan verse.
What's the point of doing all those push-ups if you can't lift up a bloody log?
Yes. See, but I mean, and that's one thing I feel like the live action can sometimes get right is the casting. But yeah, like just Warner Brothers, let them do the work.
Yeah,
stay out of the way. Just write the checks.
Yeah, I think that's all they need to do. Warner Brothers is sign the
check.
Sign the front of that check.
You're making a Billy out of Mortal Kombat every year. You know. You still make money off of every Warner Brothers project out there. Animaniacs is popular, even though us didn't like it. But the kids from this generation, didn't like it.
That's because the Animaniacs cartoon is.
Besides the point, I'm just saying, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you should be this stingy when it comes to these kind of projects. Marvel has dumped billions in films. Yeah. And they get that money back.
Yeah, and it's because like Disney, I don't know, for some reason
they have bottomless pockets.
No, it's not that, but I feel like
but that's even before Disney bought Marvel.
True,
like they were dumping a lot of money on their films.
I think what really helped them is that even like with Disney and everyone else, like the executives stayed out of the way of like Dave Favreau. And let him do his job.
Dave Favreau straight up said, like, I don't care if you guys are paying for this. This is my project. You better sell it. And you can go online and find interviews of him going, like, I told him to stick it up their ass because this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, and, like, versus what they're doing with Star Wars. Like, the execs have their nose in it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that right now. I don't want to talk about that.
I know that's a whole other subject.
And you just made me depressed. But, I mean, that's besides the film. I mean, you guys have any closing arguments or closing thoughts or, like, just films you kind of like want to recommend to anybody who's either watching a live action or a animated DC film?
My recommendation, even though people are gonna disagree with me on this, is Man of Steel is good. Go watch it. Like, go back and watch it. I love the controversial.
It's good up to the fight.
I love the controversial ending. I love that part. That shit was awesome.
All right, I guess. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I mean, Superman 3, the quest for justice, that was.
Wait, was that the one with the cellophane?
Yes,
Or was that number 2?
No, that's number 2. It's a quest for justice with the Solar Man.
I thought that was 4.
Oh yeah, that is 4. Yeah, never mind. What about an animated film you recommend for DC, Matt?
Too many to pick.
One that probably viewers or listeners haven't watched, like something a little obscure.
A little obscure.
Mm-hmm. If you know of any.
Batman, Red Superman.
Yes,
The
that's a
one
good
where
one.
he's
Russian.
Where
yeah.
he's Russian. Yes. That
Very
one,
good one.
That was a good one.
Definitely agree with him. It's called Red Sun.
Yes.
SON, not SUN. But yeah, very good one. Alternate universe. Superman lands in Russia. He gets turned into the gladiator. Very good film. What about you, Lane? What's a live action DC film you would recommend and an animated one?
Oh, jeez. What happened?
Wait, is Green Lantern gonna get any love?
Yeah, I mean, I wish he would get love. Both
Emerald Knights was good.
both on the animated side and the live action side. He doesn't really have that many animated. There's First Flight.
That was good.
Very good. There's the Emerald Knights, and then technically Justice League Doom, but that's it, dude. Yeah.
And he was in Justice League War.
Oh yeah, that's right. He wasn't.
You're just a guy in a bat suit.
That's
And he
true.
just gets his rain token.
Yeah. All right, Lane, you got one?
Well, okay, for live action, oh gosh, honestly, no, I don't. Outside of the ones I've already mentioned,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
like
See,
I
that's how
said,
bad they are.
I would say the first Wonder Woman was decent.
Yeah, actually, it was good.
Shazam was decent.
Aquaman was good. I liked Aquaman. I know a lot of people didn't like Aquaman, but both of them.
I thought
liked.
Aquaman.
Actually, the second one sucked.
I haven't seen the second one, but I think the first one was okay.
No, I think it was a good origin story for him. Well, not even an origin story, like a coming of age story. I would call him. Yeah.
I just I don't. It didn't wow me, but it didn't bore me, and I didn't think it was complete trash.
It's true.
Yeah, so I thought it was okay.
What about the animated one? Any obscure ones that like people probably haven't seen?
Ones that we didn't mention that I thought were pretty good, like the Dark Knight Returns.
The one based off the
Frank Miller
the
comic?
Frank Miller novel.
Yeah.
That one was good. Yeah, I love
Those
that
ones-
one.
So it's like a 2-parter.
Yeah,
movie
that's
thing,
a
but
very good one.
That's another one that like is really good. So I would definitely say that's one to watch, and it being like, a 2-parter, you get two for one.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the movies, outside of the ones that we've already mentioned, like obviously the first 2 Batman movies by Tim Burton are great, and then the new what is it, Batman?
It's just called the Batman.
It's just called Batman?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not anything else.
I call it
Patterman.
The Patterman or
Yeah,
the
I really liked that
Batson.
one.
No, it was good. It was good. And have you guys seen the Penguin, by the way?
I haven't watched it
Not
yet.
yet.
Waiting for it all to be done, but that's like a show. It's not a movie.
Yeah, but they did their homework with that one.
I started watching Alfred.
Oh my god, Alfred sucked.
It
So did Gotham,
did.
dude. Those both sucked.
Wait, Gotham?
Not Gotham. The one with young Bruce Wayne. Is it Gotham?
Yeah, that's called
Oh
Gotham.
yeah, that one did good.
What about the one with Misha Collins?
Oh, I don't know that one.
That one is...
I don't know. Well, for me, the one DC live action that I try to recommend people to watch, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack, and I hope I do get flack, especially in the comments. It's Shaq's version of Steel.
Oh, God.
As a kid growing up, and when it came out, oh my god! And Steel is actually one of my favorite side characters, and I fell in love with him ever since he was put in the animated Superman TV series.
Yeah.
When he made a little guest appearance. Dude, it's a terrible movie. I'm not going to deny it.
When I was a kid, I saw... it's a terrible movie.
Even as a kid, I'd be like, oh my god, this is corny as hell. But dude, just seeing him in the live action, and I want a live action of Steel.
Where it's actually good.
It doesn't even have to be good. It's just like if you can get oh my god, what's his name from The Wire casted as Steel? Not Idris. I forget his name.
What about Michael J. White?
Actually, he would be good. Michael J. White would be good as Steel, or even Michael B. But who's Michael B. Jordan now? He's playing a Marvel character, right?
Killmonger.
Oh, that's right.
And he died.
That's true. But regardless, Steel is one film I recommend, not because it's good, because dude, you're gonna laugh. One, you're gonna laugh because it's just
you're gonna laugh at how bad it is.
Yeah. Two, it had a pretty solid story. It's a guy, he comes back to his neighborhood, he sees that it's a shambles. It's basically Walking Tall, by the way. With Kevin Sorbo.
Or The Rock.
No, Kevin Sorbo.
The Rock.
No, shut your mouth.
The Rock was better.
Yeah,
his was better.
But regardless, it's one of those films that, like, even though it's bad, it's not the worst, and it's campy, and it's good for kids. It sends a positive message. And as far as animated one, and this is one I don't feel enough people know of this movie, and it's called Suicide Squad. What's it called? Hang on, give me a second. I had it.
The Jada's Project?
No, that's Teen Titans, the Judas Contract.
Oh, okay.
I know which one you're talking about, but it's
Assault on Ark.
No,
is that Assault Arkham? Or wait, is it the other Suicide Squad movie?
It's Suicide Squad.
Because there's like 2 or 3 of them.
It's the one where they're looking to get a card that saves them from hell.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one's good.
And I had it just in front of me right now también. It's like, and it scrolled to the Judas Contract right there for some reason.
Hell something.
Hell to Pay.
Yeah.
Yes. So Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, not only is that a good movie, it's one I feel like it kind of flew under the radar because not a lot of people, and look how hard it took us to figure out the title of it. And 2, it has a good story because they're trying to look for this card because Amanda Waller is trying to get out of hell, and she knows with that card she'll do it. Plus, you get to see Reverse Flash in it, and you find out what happened to him after Flashpoint Paradox because he got the bullet in the head thanks to Thomas. So he's technically dying, but he vibrated himself so fast that he slowed down his time of death. So he's looking to get that card to save himself as well. Yeah. So this entire time, everybody's fighting for that stupid card, only for it to get used at the end.
Yeah, and also I think another cool part about that movie is like Deathstroke.
Oh yeah, he's also in it. Yeah.
No, not Deathstroke.
No, not Deathstroke. Deadshot.
Yeah, Deadshot. Like, who knew he could be a fucking team leader?
I knew that. Well, Suicide Squad technically showed that as well.
Yeah, but usually he's an assassin that works alone.
He's a hitman, yeah.
But he fucking pulled that team together.
Yeah. No, yeah, he did it all around the stories really well.
Yes.
There's a lot of action. There's a good story plot. Amanda Waller's in it, and anything with Amanda Waller I like because she's just one of those.
She's a fucking bitch.
But she's so good at her job, dude. She's the only one that's made Batman twitch, if you remember Justice League Unlimited. And she's one of those people that even though the things she did looked bad, she only did it out of fear because, I mean, come on. The Justice League, you kind of got to be afraid of them a little bit.
Yeah, but, like, also a lot of the things she does ethically are horrible.
Oh, yeah, but that's...
She's the perfect villain. She is a villain.
I wouldn't consider her a villain. This is just a woman doing her job and what she feels is best for her country.
They all say that.
But if you look at our history, especially American history, a lot of good things have come from that.
Well, how many bad things have come from that line?
Hey, you gotta crack a few eggs to make a few omelets or something like that. I forget what the saying is.
You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
There you go. But that's the one I recommend.
Her morals and ethics are so skewed.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you just like but her standing next to Superman, like you hate her.
But dude, well, Superman's a boy scout. You can't compare Amanda Waller to him. But I mean, she's just one of those characters that even though she's horrible, when she talks, you can understand why she's doing what she's doing.
She does command the respect.
Like, and she's supporting everything with facts. Like, she's telling the Justice League, you have a space station above us with a death cannon that we weren't even aware about. There's at least five of you in that group that can level an entire continent, and you expect us to be okay with that? No. We're getting off topic. This episode's gone longer than it should have. I thought it was gonna be a pretty short one because I didn't think we were gonna have too much stuff. And this is why we didn't include TV shows, by the way, man.
We can.
No.
We could talk about how good Arrow and Flash were. Oh my god.
You're the only one in this table who's probably seen that show.
Yeah,
I haven't seen.
In all honesty, those are like the only two that I like.
Let's go ahead and just wrap it up. As always, thank you for listening. If you're on my YouTube channel,
and another thing,
bastards. If you're on my YouTube channel, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us a follow. If you want to talk to us on Instagram, please do so. We definitely want to talk to you guys. Matt definitely wants to talk to you. He will answer every message you send, no matter how obscure. If you comment on my page, I show him the comments. He gets right in.
I do.
He gets in the nitty gritty. We definitely want to have a conversation.
I will entertain you.
We definitely want to have a conversation with you, with our listeners. It's always John. Shout out to John.
Shout out to John and his bullshit. And just because this is another episode we mentioned you're not invited on this show. We have our own show to do, by the way. Everybody that's listening to this.
Matt has an announcement.
John and I and our friend Kyle, we have started our own podcast called What Is To Be Gamed.
Which should have been called Gamecologist.
And hey, we might change the name to that.
We could always do that.
Name is still work in progress, but the first episode will be up soon, so check us out.
Yeah, we'll post it on the gram. But again, folks, thank you for tuning in. We will talk to you next week. Everybody say bye.
Get your shit and get out.
Toodles.